Are you tired of watching shows that only give you general social media theory and expect you to figure out how to apply it to your own industry? Join us for this week's episode of Social Chatter, the industry's longest running social media marketing news talk show. Not only will you learn the latest breaking news, but you'll also gain practical advice on how to apply it. Now here's your host, Christian Karasiewicz.
It might help if I take myself off mute. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing news talk show. This is episode 238. And I can't wait to talk about this week's topics. I'm really excited, though, about our guest this week. A good friend of mine, Stephanie Liu, who specializes a lot in live video. She's going to be our guest this week. We've got a lot of video topics, actually, to talk about. In addition, we've got some great questions that we want to chat with Stephanie about. For example, if you've struggled to build a live video audience, or you want to actually get into doing some remote production, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a live video boot camp as well that both Stephanie and I are both participating in. But first, I want to bring on my co-host this week, and I know Jim's having a hard time the last couple of days. Sorry, Jim, to give you a hard time here, by the way. He had a little incident with I guess a squirrel chewed through his internet connection, his fiber, and so Jim's going to be joining us. He's got a little bit of a 90s graphic vibe going on. How you doing, Jim?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm actually having to use a hotspot in order to. So I'm glad to see it seems to be working. I was concerned about that, but maybe because no one in my neighborhood's on the internet. It's not too bad. But yeah, we had a squirrel down the street chewed through the fiber line, and apparently it's significant enough damage. It's been down since yesterday afternoon, and so I'm not real happy with the squirrels right now. Why can't they just mind their own business?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's good to have you join us this week. I know we got a lot of topics to talk about. But again, I mean, who do we have on this week? So I said we had Stephanie.
Well,
Viewers a little bit about.
I'm going to just say that I'm a fanboy. It's Stephanie Liu. I mean, she's just amazing, great person, just so sharing of so many things, and she is probably one of the top 5 people as far as I know when it comes to not only live streaming but even remote live production. And excited that she's heading up this eCam um, boot camp on live streaming. She's got a ton of people coming. So, yeah, let's welcome Stephanie, the social media strategist.
So Stephanie, it's great to have you on.
Hi, you two. So good to see the both of you.
Definitely.
Great to see you.
Friends. I see friends.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, right? Stephanie, we saw each other in San Diego, and then that's like the last time any of us have been allowed outside.
Exactly. Yeah, I missed the reunion already. But it's good to like see everyone in the green room and you get to chat again. So it's nice. It helps. It helps a lot.
So how's everyone doing with the whole social distancing thing? Everything going well?
Well, I mean, I have a 5-year-old coworker that just doesn't care if I'm on a call, I was just telling Christian and Jim that my daughter is not camera shy whatsoever. So if you see a little person walking by, that is the diva. Say hello. Let her get her 10 seconds and then she'll be on her way.
Yeah, and we made sure we got her a snack as well to make sure she's like occupied while we're doing the show. So no worries. So I know I want to make sure we value everyone's time here. So Jim, where do you want to start with everything this week?
Well, we're talking about live video. Let's talk about YouTube just released their YouTube live video. I don't know whether to call it tool product, but I know I just got access to it. Stephanie just got access. Haven't even had a chance to really dive in, but let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
So what do we have going on? I mean, we've got, so YouTube's launching this product, YouTube Video Builder. What does it do?
Well, it's kind of like Canva, but for videos, right? Like you have your templates and then you could upload your images, your videos, and then voila, it's there, which is nice. And I think it's great for those businesses that aren't used to doing video. So things that come to mind, especially during this pandemic, would be like maybe salons or, restaurants that are now shifting towards takeout versus, sitting in-house at the restaurant. So it's interesting.
Jim, what do you think, by the way, about Video Builder?
Well, I mean, just the fact that she said it's the Canva of video building, I'm going to be diving into this because I think that's a great thing, because especially when you make it easy for people, I think that's what so many people need right now is ease of use. I mean, it's easier for us because this is what we do on a day in, day out basis, but we don't have enough bandwidth to be able to help everyone. So even if you can teach people how to use this, I think this is great. I think it has a lot of applications, and so I think it's a great thing.
Definitely, and I think like if I'm a business, I mean, I've got a lot of tools at my disposal now. So if I want to make some videos, I can use YouTube's Video Builder platform. Again, you have to get approval for this, but you can use that. You can also tap into, as Stephanie alluded to, Canva. You could also tap into Content Samurai as well if you want another video building application. Again, for building short videos. Do you all see this potentially going into being longer than the 6 to 15 seconds that they're recommending here for short YouTube videos?
I would imagine so. I would imagine that eventually you'll have creators or, small companies reaching out and saying, hey, can you help me create an intro video and all of that stuff? Because they probably might not have heard of Wave Video or Shaker.com. And because YouTube is such a big name, if they know that they could get it there first, I could definitely see them gravitating towards it.
What do you think, Jim?
No, I think that's a great point. And I think the other thing, whether we want to admit it or not, is that with everything that's been going on, people's budgets are going to be extremely tight. And so as much as some of these other tools that Stephanie mentioned are great to use, companies may not be willing to make that, a little bit of an investment. So, hey, if I can do something for free that's effective, they're going to do that. So I think this is very timely on YouTube's part to do this.
And this actually reminded me a little bit of the YouTube, the Google tool that we talked about, Jim, I think it was a couple months ago, maybe. The one where they were doing the short how-to videos. It reminded me a lot of that as well. But 6 to 15 seconds. And actually, I got a short video I'll show people. This is a 2-minute video that YouTube has uploaded about the Video Builder. If I'm a business, by the way, while I'm going to play this, what do you all think I should be doing to take advantage of this? I mean, the templates, they're pretty basic, but again, taking static images and whatnot and animating some of that. But is there anything I should specifically be doing maybe with this?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is because you have such a short period of time, you've got to get your message out there quickly. I mean, not to mention, right, in general, when people watch videos, if you're not catching their attention quickly, they're going to go somewhere else. So I think you've got to really be on point and have a script and be prepared to say what you want to say. And
Yeah. When I was looking at their website, the copy was very much saying this is a high impact video that has been proven to convert. So just plug in what you have to and then do that. So I really like that because sometimes you could get lost with templates, right? You're like, oh, what if I do this and what if I do that? And YouTube is very much saying, no, this is what works. These are the ones that we want to roll out now. So it's cool to see.
No, for sure. Absolutely. And I'm going to go and play this video real quick. It's about 2 minutes long. Another thing I really like about this video, about the way they've kind of positioned this is it's, as you mentioned, Stephanie, like they don't want to give you too many options to pick from. They use what works. And then there's actually some of the features that they will automatically pick for you based on the content that you upload. So let's go ahead and play that.
So you want to reach your customers on YouTube, but what if you don't have a video ad or the resources to produce different video ads regularly? Meet Video Builder, an easy, fast, and free way to turn your images and marketing messages into compelling, high-impact video ads. Each video created through Video Builder has been designed to meet a high bar for creative quality. We also make it easy for you to follow YouTube's guidelines for effective ads. Follow these steps for making a video with Video Builder. First, select the layout that works best for your goal. Next, add your brand color and logo. Now the fun begins. Use the storyboard panel to help construct your story and see how your images and text will map to different points in the video. For example, image 3 will appear here, and your call to action will appear here. When entering images, we'll recommend the right style, size, and orientation. And when entering text, we'll recommend the right amount field, all based on our creative guidelines and your layout's pacing and structure. Next, pick a font. Use a recommended font or find a new one using the Google Fonts catalog. When you find one you like, come back here and type in the name. Then, preview and pick a music track that helps set the tone for your video. Great job! You're ready to preview your video. Add it to your YouTube channel and give it a title. When you're happy with your video, save it and share a link with your team for feedback. If you have more to change, just click on Create a new version of this ad. Be sure to leave the browser window open. If you want to make changes, you'll need to come back here. Now you're ready to start running your campaign. Open Google Ads and make sure to follow best practices for video campaigns. For tips, go to g.co/GoogleBP. Creating video ads just got easier. Tell your story with Video Builder.
So one thing I find very fascinating, by the way, so we talked about this at the beginning, is the fact that like this is sort of like Canva and Content Samurai and all these other tools that let you create short videos. But what's interesting is the video itself is actually about video ads, like Google video ads themselves. So I love the fact that like you can create this all within their tool. What do y'all think? I mean, is like, I personally think like, hey, this is a cool little hack. If somebody wants to create some short videos and they're not going to maybe use them for Google ads, they could theoretically just create them there and potentially download them. I assume these are going to be from the YouTube channel.
That was kind of my question is like, one, can you download it? And what I like about the length is, you know, I'm a little bit of a Google My Business geek.
Mhm.
This could be used for Google Post because you can upload videos in Google Post.
Mhm.
So if you got something that's much more high end and nice looking with a call to action, which could be, you know, linking them to your landing page or whatever,
Yeah.
I definitely want to check that out because then you could use that for multiple people because not everybody's going to have like a robust YouTube channel. But the second piece of it is, you know, this is all Google, you know, people got to remember, right? YouTube is owned by Google. So if it's all in that Google ecosystem, maybe they're going to let you do that. So that's what I'm really curious about because I could definitely see this being a powerful thing for not only your Google My Business, but and of course it sounds like right they're trying to get people to spend money on ads, which
Yeah. And if you remember a couple weeks ago, I think it was, they were saying that if you had an active Google AdWords account within the past year, that they were going to give you some credit. So you would log in and you would have credit. And now that you have the video builder, well, guess what? Now you create your videos, you have free credits. Why not go ahead and do it now that people are searching for whatever it is that they need online?
right.
Exactly.
That's a great point.
And you know, I know we were chatting here privately about like, you know, just the interface to this is very clean. I love the storyboarding feature. I mean, here's the thing. I realize that people have a lot of time off, or at least a lot of time on their hands. I hope they're taking that time to actually go through and, you know, use these tools. Like Google doesn't just roll out. I mean, I realize they're rolling it out because they want you to use Google Ads, but you can actually learn a lot just by studying their process.
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
seconds.
I mean, that the interface alone is just so clean, so easy to use. I mean, there are other programs that I've used, and every time I would upload a new video, it would refresh. And you're like, gosh, I just wanted to see that one edit. And so for you to be able to see the whole thing, the whole storyboard, and where to plug in what it is that you need to update makes it so easy.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was like, well, my niece and nephew who are in high school who want to learn how to do video, learn this. You know, like use this right now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And by the way, if they want to learn video as well, you could also direct them to Hit Film Express. I don't know if you've ever checked that one out. That's actually an NLE editor, so it's like using a Final Cut Pro or an Adobe Premiere as well. But definitely check that out because they actually have some fantastic tutorials walking you through like building. Maybe it's a video game like that you want to record and do a video for and whatnot. So check that out.
Nice.
Anything else anybody wants to add on YouTube Video Builder?
Well, I do remember reading that they said it's still kind of in beta, so features may come and go. So just keep an eye on it, right? Like if you're like, oh, I have access now. I'll check it out later. Well, maybe that template that you wanted to use is like gone. So do it now. Act now.
If you want to sign up for Video Builder, I'm actually going to drop the direct link to the Video Builder to actually be able to sign up. I don't actually remember signing up for this, but I did
Really?
get access to it. So,
Oh,
yeah. So it's very simple form. I think this takes like maybe 30 seconds at the most to fill out.
yeah.
But go fill out that YouTube Video Builder, and I can't encourage people enough. I mean, just go test it out. I mean, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain from it.
Yeah, if
So
anything, I sent it out to clients. I was like, "Hey, if you're interested in doing videos, sign up for this. You have your channel, go for it, give it a try." Because as a strategist, you always want to be a strategic partner for your clients. And so the
mhm,
more resources you could give them and like keep them updated on what's happening, like reasons why you should watch the show, right?
mhm.
Then it makes you look good as a strategist. Makes you look great as a partner.
Definitely. Jim, anything else you want to add before we switch topics?
No, I just think it's definitely worth checking out. I think I got a couple ideas of some things I may try to put out there and just see how effective it is.
Very cool. So, okay, so where are we going next? We talked YouTube Video Builder. That's obviously a big topic. What's next?
Well, what are we thinking of next? There's so many great topics.
Lots of video
Let's
topics. I mean, I want to make sure we give Stephanie enough time because we've got some
Yes,
questions for her.
yes. Let's talk about let's talk about YouTube video chapters since we're on YouTube.
So
Yeah.
what do we have going on here? I mean, more YouTube news, yes, of course, but what else?
Well, I think it's just interesting that they're actually this is a way to organize your videos, especially when you have those longer videos.
Mhm.
Because in the past it would be like, oh, go to this timestamp to watch this specific topic. Well, now with the chapter, you can better organize your videos in order to get people to that specific thing
Yeah,
that's really maybe the hot part of the thing. And I just think it's all about organizations and systems ultimately when you're running a business, when you're, creating content. So it's almost like you can make it a video book. Is that such a thing?
Mm.
definitely. And I'm going to actually roll the mouse over this so everyone can hopefully see this. But this is the chapters feature, basically. So this is how long is this video? I think it's about 8 minutes long, maybe, but or I think it's actually more than that. But as you can see, you see how they have all these chapter markers built within the video. And so
Mm.
instead of having to quickly, like, and this is the most irritating part about watching YouTube videos is having to fast forward through them to find the part you want. But you get chapter markers, as you can see here. Now, these chapter markers, though, should come from the description here, actually. So all of these, when you put the timestamps in the description, again, YouTube's testing this feature, so you may not have it, but the timestamps from your description actually create the chapter markers. So keep that in mind. What do you guys think about this? I mean, I've seen this before on YouTube search, on Google search. I've seen this on other places, but what do you all think?
I like it. I like it. I mean, for me as a live streamer,
Yeah.
I know my run of show and the fact that like we'll ask 3 questions and we'll do a break and then go to the last 3 questions.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so pulling out those specific timestamps and having them pop up, I think
Mhm.
would be really helpful to draw new viewers in and have them just like get the answer for what they want right then and there.
Definitely. And I don't know if y'all have you seen this. This is the example of chapters within a video. I know if you actually go to a Google search, some videos actually have the chapter markers
Yeah.
appear in Google search, and that actually to me is really cool because if I'm putting together, let's say I'm putting together an article on live video, I know that it will actually pull out like, okay, what kind of live video gear do I need? How to
Yeah.
do Facebook Live? How to do YouTube Live? Hey,
So you're
there's
already thinking like SEO keywords. How am I going to take advantage of this? I love
yeah,
how your brain works.
that is awesome actually, and the fact that like it also means this the person doesn't have to click a video because hey, oh wow, they had a really attention grabbing thumbnail or they showed up, ranked very well for search. Now it actually is Google telling people, you know what, this video, here's how you can get to this specific part versus, oh, hey, let me click through, let me give somebody a view or some ad money or whatever.
Agree.
So I like how they're kind of taking that away from the user, or sorry, away from the publisher.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think from a user perspective, it's nice because if you're just searching for something, you want to get the answer right then and there. And so you could click around to where it is that you want. And then once
mhm,
you realize like, hey, this person, Christian and Jim, they're really answering my questions. Now I'm
mhm,
just going to play it from the beginning so I could get to know them. I think
mhm.
that's a great way to like have those little teasers out.
Yeah. And the other thing also, I mean, when I go to look up a topic on, say, Google search or YouTube, and I come across a video that is, 2 minutes long, and then I find another one that's 27 minutes long. And I'm like, okay, like it can't really be that complex a topic. Maybe there's a lot more in that 27-minute video. Maybe the person is just very long-winded, or maybe, there's actually much more in that, 2-minute video that I see. So I think this is a really nice feature to have. I'm excited YouTube's working on this. Jim, what do you think? Any parting thoughts on this? I mean, if I'm a business, what should I do?
Definitely implement it, especially if you've got longer videos. I think it just makes a lot of sense.
Totally me. Yeah.
Stephanie, what do you think about adding like timestamps? So do you know how people can go in and add those chapters within the description?
I love it. I love it. And I mean, it was thanks to you. You're the one that introduced me to Otter.ai, right? So now I could go into Otter.ai, see what the exact timestamps are, and then just plug that in here and have that. Like, I'm going to show this to my clients and be like, wow, Stephanie, retainer, 3 more years.
No, that's perfect. And by the way, for those of you who do want to create these timestamps within the video, you can just go to the spot in the video you want. Use a little trick. You can actually right click on the video. There's an option that says copy video URL at current time. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to give you, if you look at the URL here, it will actually append the timestamp directly into the video itself. So that way you can,
Yeah, ninja hacks. I love it.
So that's YouTube video chapters. So let's keep talking live video. You want to talk more live video? What do you want to talk, Jim?
Let's actually, this kind of goes, this is still in line with it, but Verizon has made a big move. They have bought out Blue Jeans. And I think that's interesting because of the way things have been going and with the rise of not only live video usage in general, whether it's Zoom or these other platforms, is Verizon obviously is thinking something in this lines because Blue Jeans has been a live streaming platform that maybe not a lot of people know about as well. So I think that's something to talk about.
So what do you think? Is this a good move? I mean, are we going to see more consolidation, you think, in the industry? Do you think we're going to, what's...
I think it's a combination. I think when I talk to a lot of people, like a lot of times on Zoom, and of course, everyone's got these Zoom scares now from security issues to everything else, which, to me, you just have to practice good security. But there's a gap, right? Whether it's Ecamm or StreamYard or some of these programs like we're using to live stream to social platforms, what I love about these platforms, right? We're able to share comments on screen from the people interacting. That seems to be the downfall, if you want to call it that, of things like Zoom, because it's like, oh, it's hidden in the chat window, or I have to get an upgraded version to have more people where I just want the speakers on and not everybody interfering. So there's this gap of, wouldn't it be great to have a platform that you could be off of a social platform, but invite people to and share comments? So I don't know if that's what they're going to do with Blue Jean. Maybe that's something that Verizon will do. But I think that's where I see the gap, and I think it'll be overcome because I think the technology and smarts are out there. So that's where, if I was Verizon, and they're not paying me to say this because I use AT&T, that's what I would be doing with this platform.
I think that's a good move. And, here's what I foresee actually happening right now. So I see, okay, so Verizon is buying Blue Jeans. They'll probably integrate it into their platform. I could see AT&T, for example, or is Sprint still a thing? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sprint, T-Mobile,
Sprint and T-Mobile. Yeah.
Emerged. Yeah. I could see though one of them as another play. I would say, okay, well, hey, maybe they'll buy Zoom next, because I think they paid 500 million for like Blue Jeans. That used to be a live streaming platform, and then they took that functionality away. I could see Verizon being next, or maybe was it like live webinar, some of these other platforms that are out there. What do you think, Stephanie? Is this a good move for?
I think Verizon is definitely positioning themselves as the company for your small business or your business solutions, right?
Okay.
Because you think about your mobile hotspot, if you have all of your employees on Verizon because it's reliable service. Again, I'm not on Verizon, but all of a sudden you have your hotspots, you have your meetings. Now knowing that you have this dedicated service for you and your business to thrive, I think it really puts them in a really good position in that theory. Because if you think about T-Mobile and the branding that they use, I'm on T-Mobile, it's more about like fun and it's about perks. It's not really business associated, right? And is it Verizon that also has like Disney Plus? Like I'm thinking about like how they're like packaging everything now. Like, and here's another
Right.
bonus, and here's another bonus. And so I think from a business perspective, it's like, oh wow, I get all of this.
Well, yeah, and even when that's a great point, Stephanie. This whole, and even when they talked about at the conference, the live streaming growth and how much it's going to explode. It's probably exploding now more so than we expected because of this current situation we're in. But people are cutting the cord, so to speak. They're getting away from cable TV. So if the AT&T and the Verizons of the world or the T-Mobile start bringing in these streaming platforms, now they become that one-stop shop for a business to be able to like, hey, well, we can get you on this platform or that platform. I think like Quibi, I think that's how you say it, just launched.
Yep.
So you've got all these different streaming platforms, and so it'll be interesting to see what they do with this. But I think that was a great point you brought up.
So the last part I want to actually add, so if you're using Blue Jeans, again, I mean, this stuff takes a little while, and for now, it probably takes quite a while to actually get the merger complete. So I would say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about something happening for Blue Jeans. If you already have a subscription, I would say I wouldn't even cancel my subscription at the moment if I were considering. I would say, let me stick with Blue Jeans. Let me actually see how this plays out with Verizon, because a lot of times what some of these companies will do is they will, for example, as you all alluded to, they might roll this into your included package, with the company. If you're using maybe their home broadband and hey, you're also a Verizon customer and you got a mobile hotspot or something like that, as Jim is on right now on a hotspot, you might miss out on some of those opportunities. So I'd say stick around until they actually get around to completing that merger. Now, in addition to that, if you also want to actually consider another live video platform besides Zoom, I don't know if you all know this, but like Amazon has their own as well. It's called Amazon Chime. I'm just going to bring that up real quick. So Amazon's into everything, obviously, but they have Amazon Chime, which is basically a video conferencing platform as well. And that runs on the cloud service, Amazon Web Service, actually. So something to check out too, if you want to, if you're in the market for considering other video conferencing tools. So yeah. Anything else you want to add, by the way, about these? I'm not going to go too much into Amazon Chime. We talked about that on a previous episode, but anything else you want to add about the fact that Verizon is buying Blue Jeans?
No, I think we're good. Let's stay on live video though, Alex.
Sure.
And let's go with streaming live video between Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Because I know this is something that people have wanted for a long time. Maybe for forever. Would you say, Stephanie?
Yeah, people are always asking about it. There's this one hack that I did about how to go live on Instagram from your desktop. It's like one of the top viewed videos that I have on YouTube. So to see this roll out, I think people that are on Instagram absolutely love it. People that live stream on Facebook are like, but why?
That's a good point. And I've seen a lot of traffic lately where it's like everybody's going live on Instagram, and people are almost like, why are all these people going live on Instagram? Maybe because they've got nothing better to do right now. But I think I sometimes just wonder, why doesn't Instagram just open up its API and allow you to use third-party tools to live stream?
Yeah.
I don't
Come
understand.
Come on now. It's been a while.
You're owned by Facebook. What are you waiting on, Facebook? Come on.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was at the Facebook FA conference and they were talking about when they acquired Instagram, just the whole infrastructure and trying to like move that over is a whole thing. But yeah, I'm just like you. I'm still impatient. It's like, I understand, but still go ahead. You're Facebook.
Right. You've got a couple billion customers at the moment.
Come on now. Yeah.
But I think it's a good step. I don't think, have you received this yet, Stephanie? Are you able to do this yet? Or
No, I checked. I think as soon as I think it was Eddie Garrison. He was the one that had shared it in his group. And then I was like, oh, let me check it out. And I didn't have it at all. Yeah. Probably because I don't go live.
It's actually the guy that originally actually plugged this. So, so I want to make sure we give this guy some credit. Alessandro Paluzzi actually found this.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, here's the thing. I think this, potentially could be another play by Facebook to, again, I mean, they're going to start to merge some of the messaging, but I think at the same time, maybe they will consider, these are more pieces to merge all other platforms. I mean, the one reason I could see them not making Instagram like totally available on desktop or opening the API as much is because they have a very good mobile platform in Instagram and WhatsApp, and they don't really need to do that much, and they don't need to mess it up. So I think kind of like keeping them separate actually makes a lot of sense. Um, but yeah, Jim, you gonna say
Well,
something?
yeah, I just think though this is where I guess I'd say Instagram puts themselves in this conundrum of they want people to use Instagram TV and they want
Mhm.
all these longer videos, and it's like, but if you make it too hard for people, it's just never going to catch on. I mean, I started using Instagram TV when it first came out, and but there's still probably millions of people that don't even know it exists,
Oh no,
and
yeah.
so maybe this gets people that are on Facebook to go to Instagram like, "Oh, look, I can watch a 10-minute video on Instagram."
Mhm.
Um, I still think though this goes back to what I harp on this a lot of trying to be all things to all people, right? Do what you're good at and don't try to do everything. But yeah, I think it's, we'll see if it rolls out anytime soon. I don't think I have it yet, but I think could be a good idea.
So anything else you want to add, Stephanie, about the fact that Instagram is testing live to Instagram and Facebook?
My initial thoughts is what they're also doing for Facebook live streamers at the moment, right? Like the fact that you could do in-spot ads in your live videos, all of that good stuff. Maybe that will transfer over to Instagram.
Yeah.
So, maybe there's an opportunity for that. So we'll see how this helps out content creators in the long run. But knowing that they're not going to have anyone in the office until 2021, we'll see how good their remote working the remote working style is for meeting those roadmaps.
Definitely. And I will say this. I mean, I play a lot of tennis, and so I follow a lot of the pros, and it's been fascinating actually to see them. They actually thought Instagram Live was, I think, pretty hard. Rafa, for example, Rafael Nadal found it very hard to actually get onto Instagram Live. I tend to sort of agree for the most part. I mean, a lot of people, there's so many features out there that they're not really like, they have to learn how to use it, and they also have to somehow like get themselves up to speed on how do I actually like, what do I post that's good quality content as well. Do y'all have any tips for people? Like, okay, so if somebody wants to put some content on Instagram versus Facebook, any tips there? Jim, you want to start?
I mean, I think you definitely got to keep it short. I
Okay.
mean, kind of goes back to I think everything we say, and I'm sure things that you guys will be covering in the Ecamm boot camp. You got to have a script. You got to have a plan. Don't just go live because you want to go live. There's enough of that junk out there. Or don't go live and wait for people to show up, especially on something like Instagram. If you're not ready to, really, right? Lights,
Yeah.
camera, live. Where have we
Mhm.
heard that before, right? You got to go, right? When you hit that live button, you got to be active or you're just going to lose people. And so I think that's the thing with Instagram, right? It needs to, I mean, even stories, right? They're short.
Mhm.
So I think, that's where sometimes Facebook and Instagram are short attention span theater. So it's got to be short and to the point. And
Stephanie, anything you want to add?
I love the fact that Jim was like, keep it pretty short because I know when I try to watch an Instagram live, I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, it just suddenly happened. Where's my tripod? Like, I don't want to hold my phone the entire, not the entire time. But now that they also have it where you could watch it on desktop, it's like, cool, that's awesome. I saw
Mhm.
it in my newsfeed, but I don't actually know how to do it yet, right? So it was funny because Kelly Noble Maribel was like, I have like zero interest in Instagram lives. And I was like, oh,
right. I saw that
oh.
too.
It's like, look, can we turn off that notification? But some
Yeah.
people are really crushing it on Instagram Live because they know their audience,
Mhm.
and just knowing what works best over there is focus on that.
Definitely. And I would say this, I mean, if you're, debating, okay, should I get on Instagram? Like maybe I want to go look at my competitors, very simple. Go follow my competitors' channels. Go look at, you can look at bigger brands, but I would say this, I mean, most of the time they have a team that is helping them do that. So for example, they're not creating their Instagram lives on their mobile phone in some cases. sorry, not Instagram Live. Sorry, some of them are actually creating a lot of their content off of Instagram and then piping it back in, and they can get access to a whole host of other tools. Jem, for example, I know you have a new webcam. We talked about this a while back. It's the Logitech Stream Cam, and the
Yes.
one selling feature we said was really cool about this was that right now, for example, my webcam is horizontal, and yours can actually flip horizontal and vertical and film as if you're on a mobile phone. So you've got some really cool functionality there. Yes, Stephanie,
Yeah.
it's a very cool webcam. Don't overpay though what people are paying right now for webcams, because people have bought up all the stock.
Oh
But-
my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah,
But it's
I got it. Actually bought it off the Logitech website. That was the.
Good.
And I had to get a white camera because the black ones were sold out. But it's like, who really cares what color the camera is? I mean,
Yeah.
You know
you
what
know,
else
always
you see,
paint
right?
it.
No, but yes. So Instagram, they're testing simulcasting, and by the way, simulcasting for viewers is where you're broadcasting to multiple channels at once. For those of you who have never heard that term, we talk about it a lot on live video, but simulcasting. So you'll be able to potentially broadcast to Facebook and Instagram at once.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to talk about, Jim, or do we want to move over to some?
No, let's move over to the questions for Stephanie, because I know she's got a hard stop, and we want to make sure we get this valuable stuff she's going to share. So Stephanie, how do you build a live video audience?
That's a really good question, because I was in, we all hang out in like Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
And someone was like, I've been following everyone's advice. Like, I've been consistent and going every single week, but my audience isn't growing. And so I had to think back. I was like, well, how would I address that differently? Like, what are we doing for Lights Camera Live that's different? And I find that a lot of it is I do a lot of promo beforehand,
Okay.
right? Like, I do a lot of teasers. I do invest in like repurposing the content across multiple platforms. And I think that has really helped. The biggest one really is repurposing it into a blog post. And Christian, I know that you do this and you do a fantastic job at that, but most live streamers don't,
No,
right?
they don't.
And
Yeah.
it's just like I'll get to it when I can. And I've been able to really kind of catch up on my backlog because I have a VA now in the Philippines who helps me out. And I think that has really helped because now people are searching online, they're finding that, and then I have that little button on the site where it says, be notified whenever we go live on air. And so it just keeps building that audience.
So consistency, but also doing those things to definitely, don't just say, well, hey, I'm going to go live on a social platform, but keep in mind you have a website, potentially. Hopefully you have a website. You're putting your content on there. For
Yeah.
example, if you want to build, and also I'll add to the repurposing on a blog. If you have a lot of specific videos, if you have a video series, for example, maybe create a landing page on your website, and your landing page is not a sales page. It is actually a landing page advertising your show, and it's got all of your episodes. So if you're a WordPress user, for example, you can drop them into a category that is specific about that particular topic, and then you can actually bring that whole category into a WordPress post. That's a piece of advice I'd say people should use. Anything else you want to add?
I would also say kind of get out of your circle because that's how you kind of grow your audience. Like, I know your show, I know Jim and Tim's show, like I know everyone's show. But what's really exciting for me is when you get a new viewer and you're like, where did you come from?
Right.
Right? And they'll say something like, oh, well, I heard you on somebody else's podcast, or I saw you on somebody else's show. And I think as a live streamer, it's important for you to collaborate with others because that's a great way to get that buy-in, to get people to tune into your show.
Definitely.
Like this. I was like, hey, this is happening.
And I'm looking at the comments, like Irene Rossell, like I, for example, met her through a WhatsApp group. So, so as you mentioned, I mean, you should go and you should try to be on people's shows. Also consider there's some tools that's called Help a Reporter Out, for example. You can go in there and people will post questions that they ask. It's a great place for you to go and answer a question, get featured in a blog post. Some people will allow you to put links into your content. Hey, that's a good opportunity to put a bio. Hey, I am also the host of whatever the show is. So it helps you actually get a little more exposure. Jem, any tips you want to share as well on how you build a live video audience?
One thing that people don't always realize, and I also really, it really struck me reading Neil Schaefer's book, The Age of Influence, is 90% of people that might be watching your video, you don't even know they're there because they don't react, they don't comment. But I can't tell you, especially before all this happened, where I'd be out at a networking meeting or something, and somebody's like, "Hey, I really love what you're doing on LinkedIn." I'm like, "What? I've never seen you say anything, but thanks." I mean, I don't give them that reaction, but I'm thinking, wow, people
Yeah.
are paying attention. So don't get frustrated that you're not necessarily always seeing the numbers as far as engagement goes, but it is it's a well, I like the comment. It's not a sprint, it's not even a marathon, it's a journey.
Oh,
Because when you get to that 26 miles, it doesn't stop. So you just have to be consistent. You have to make sure you're always doing that, try to improve 1% every time you go live. And that includes what Stephanie said with your pre-promotional stuff, like, build that email list, maybe even start building the text listing. There's so many programs now that do that. Because right now, right, people maybe are you know, overwhelmed by email because there's so much junk email now. Um, and also just ask people like, hey, what would you like to see on us talk about? And I think, yeah, getting on other people's shows as well is extremely beneficial as well. So yeah, no, those are all great points that you guys have brought up.
So, okay, so what's question 2?
One of my favorites, because I've actually been growing my business over the past few weeks with this.
Okay.
Stephanie, where do you see remote live video production headed?
oh my gosh.
A good one.
It's
A ton of this.
it's happening now. Like I can't tell you like ever since we had the stay-at-home orders in San Diego, or just in the state of California, like my DMs have been blowing up on every single social media channel. Old
Mhm.
colleagues have been hitting me up, asking me how do I use this or how do I do that, and they're all learning it. And every weekly meeting that I have with clients are like, well, how do I do this? And now I'm teaching them how to be the remote live producer because they might not be the talent. And so
Mhm.
it's happening. And if you have the skills to do the lower third graphics, if you could easily learn how to use StreamYard or even Ecamm, that puts you head and shoulders above just using a mobile device, right?
Right.
People are looking for that. You have news media anchors that are like, man, now I have to do this at home. How do I make myself look good?
Yes.
And yeah, and I love that all the live streamers were like, I'm going to make my affiliate PDF lead magnet right now, and they all put it out. And then, of course, Amazon was like, well, now we're going to cut commissions. And I was like, what?
Big time cut commission, by the way.
Right?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. And I love, so for like the Leap into Live Streaming Bootcamp, there's 3 other speakers on there that are doing remote live producer. And I love seeing how they pitch it, how they produce it, how they package it up as a service. And it's there. It's there. Start working on your media kits if this is something that you want to do. Again, I've been pushing my niece and nephews. I'm like, you could do this at home, in your little Harry Potter closet. Like you don't you don't even have to be on camera. You just have to know how to switch the screens, have a background, have a run of show, and you could follow people like Owen Video who nails it, right?
Right.
And it's beautiful. I'm just like, wow, everything that when you've been working on this for so long, you're like, oh, I'm officially like in demand, like crazy in demand. It's crazy.
Yes, and going back to like what you just said a second ago, I mean about having different scenes, for example, and setting things up. I mean, it really starts, and this is the thing. It starts with it's the same exact process, pretty much for live video for any sort of video you want to make, and it's basically I need to write out a script. How does that show get produced? So, for example, even though it's live, it is still scripted because everything is done in a certain sequence. It's like, okay, I have an intro video or I have a countdown timer. I have certain segments that I, have on the show. I have certain things that I want to make sure that get mentioned during the show, so everything is not really live, but it is live. That makes a whole lot of sense. But script it all out,
Yeah.
And then create all the different scenes. I mean, and that's something like I know I'm talking about in the Ecamm live video bootcamp, which is like building overlays for your videos. A very simple thing actually that can make your video, as you mentioned, Stephanie, going from just using a mobile device to actually increase your quality of your production significantly.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen remote live producers find specific niches for people that are doing product launches, course launches.
mhm,
Even the show that I did yesterday is traditional media that was like, how do I bring this online? And helping them navigate through the different user interfaces.
right. And I will say, like when I was actually recording my my presentation for the live video boot camp, I will say this: one thing I struggled with was, okay, I had one half of it figured out, and that was the easiest part, which is like, okay, I'm on camera, I'm sharing the screen, but how do I share the actual application I'm recording into? Because I was like, well, I want to demo that to people, and so you kind of have to, in a way, do a quick test run, see how it works, and then okay, I've got my steps. I write them down, maybe I learn on the fly in a way. So
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're looking to get started with remote live video production, I'd say script it out. What tip would you say, Jim? What should people do?
Yeah, well, and kind of like Stephanie said, I've got 2 or 3 companies now that I'm working with doing this stuff. And this one, the most recent one, it's an event company that's bringing on experts in their field because they're not having events. They're trying to add value. And so what we do is we literally are doing the day before we go live, we're bringing everybody on to do a camera check, make them understand,
Yep.
here's how we're going to handle you guys, because I'm off camera. Like
Yeah.
Stephanie said, I could be, sitting here in a t-shirt, chewing gum. They can't hear me. But I'm switching the screens. I'm telling them, all right, here's how I'm going to handle these things. Here's how we're going to handle questions, and just getting them comfortable, but also making them understand, like, okay, let's work on your lighting, all these little things. So being able to do it ahead of time, not like the 15 minutes before you go live,
Yeah.
but then
Right.
also doing that as well. You're going to add a lot of value to them and make them comfortable on camera, because these are people that have never been on live video before in a
Yeah.
lot of cases.
Definitely.
And so you're that guide and voice of reason. So,
Yeah. So add that into your pricing, you guys. Add that, all of it, the whole mindset, the gear, the tech rehearsal, the production of it. If you know how to repurpose content, outsource that. If you could do the paid media side of it, there's a whole revenue stream coming just from that. I think people can definitely tap into.
Okay,
absolutely.
so I'm going to go ahead. We've got a couple more questions we're going to have, Stephanie. Actually, we're going to put these in the last one, or actually, the live video boot camp. Let's talk about that real quick.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
the
Oh my gosh. So leap into live streaming boot camp. This is something that Ecamm and I were brainstorming for such a long time, because we wanted people to really embrace live video. How to get started. Simple things like how to create like some amazing graphics, like the ones on this show. Christian's absolutely going to go ahead and show you how to do that. Things like how to run your show, how to monetize your show. If you're a church, how do you do that for your congregation? And we got like 40 plus live streaming legends. And I am so humbled, because these are relationships that I've had with people ever since I first started live streaming. And it's something where people are like, oh, Stephanie, you could create a course and you could do that. I was like, yeah, I can. But what if we all collaborated together? And now that we're all building our audiences, because we're all different flavors, right? We all have different styles. And just to see that amount of people, it's amazing. And right now we have last time I checked, I think 3,500 people registered for the 3-day boot camp. And I'm just blown away.
So when does it start, by the way?
So it starts next week on the 29th, so Wednesday 29th, and it ends on May 1st. I believe that's a Friday. But the thing is that you'll actually still have access to the replays until June 1st. So even if you don't watch it live, that's okay. Just know that the benefits of actually watching it live is that we do have a Facebook group. So if you have questions about how to do the graphics, like Christian's already there, ask him. Right? Like, how did you do this in easel? And it's nice to have that hand-holding experience as you get started live streaming, because I know when I first started, I bombed a couple of times, right? And so it's nice to have those live streaming legends help you along the way.
So if people want to actually sign up for the Ecamm Live Bootcamp, how do they go about doing that? Do you have a-
So ecamm.live/bootcamp, that's the best place to go. And yeah, go through the lineup, see who it is that you want to reach out to. A couple of the speakers are also blocking out some time in the Facebook group where they'll do one-on-one Q&A, group Q&A.
I think, and I will say this, the value is going to be in not just okay, I get to watch all of these presentations, but I get to actually ask my questions.
Oh yeah.
That's the big problem.
All of the speakers were vetted. That's the thing. And some of it's fun because there are a couple of names that you might not have heard of. And I did that intuitively, purposefully, because I wanted people to get out of their echo chamber. I want you to meet someone new on how they're doing it differently. Like maybe
Right.
you don't have church clients, but you could learn what kind of gear they're using,
Mhm.
how they're pitching it, how they're promoting it, and then take that into your business, whether you're doing remote live producer or something completely different.
Definitely. So do I have time to present one tool real quick, or do we have?
I've got 2 minutes and then I'll hop off.
2 minutes. Okay. So we're going to touch base. What tool do you want to cover, Stephanie?
Whatever it is that you want. I'm like, go.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a tool real quick. We're going to talk about let's talk about Easel. Okay, so Easel is it's a graphic program. It's a program for creating images, for creating graphics and whatnot for your business. It is a fantastic tool. You can create professional quality graphics with ease. I've got this pulled up here for everyone. Stephanie, do you want to add anything about Easel? Like,
Yeah, Easel has been the go-to design platform for the entire Leap into Live Streaming Bootcamp. And let me tell you, trying to make 40 graphics for every single speaker, Easel made it so easy because we created a template, swapped out people, we were able to remove the backgrounds, I could resize it into different things. It's my go-to, honestly. And Annette is so helpful because we were like, we need a logo. Boom, got it done. I was like, look at you.
and they do some tremendous work. I mean, it's not just for, as you mentioned, it's not just for like images and graphics. Like you can use it for making your stories content. So if you want to take, say, that square image you see on screen, you can quickly resize that. You can cut the background out and use that in a promotion for your live videos. If you want to make overlays, as I mentioned, I'm teaching that in the live video bootcamp, but
Yeah.
lots and lots and lots of functionality. And it's only it's free. And then you can upgrade for like, I think $75 for the year, which is like peanuts, basically, if you think about it. You're actually getting. So definitely something worth checking out. Anything else you want to add about that tool?
I mean, I love the designs. I love that you can't tell that it's coming from Easel because they're always putting fresh new designs, and they
Yeah.
have a very active Facebook group. Because at one point, Christian and Jim, I was like, I want to do audiograms. Can you create a template? And boom, they gave me 20 different templates. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you.
Great team to work with. I will say that.
Yeah.
So I know, Stephanie, I know you've got to go. So one last question real quick for you. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they have questions or whatnot?
Yeah, the best way to find me is on Facebook. Just type in my name, Stephanie
Okay.
Lou. And then you could send me a DM. I'm used to it. By now, I feel like after all the YouTube and the live streams and everything, it's just find me in the DMs.
Sounds good. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us on Social Chatter episode 238. We'll make sure we get all of your tips. We'll get those in the blog post recap that we'll publish this weekend. But I know you've got something else coming up. So thank you a lot for spending an hour of time with us.
Yeah, you guys are the best. Thanks so much
Great
for
seeing you,
letting me geek
Stephanie.
out. I'll see you guys.
Anytime. See you.
Bye.
So, Jim, I know we didn't get to all the topics today, but I do want to make sure to remind people if they want to get those, they can go to socialchefs.com/daily. If they want to go and join our email list, they'll get the blog post recap that will go out. Now, in addition to that, if they do want to get a WhatsApp group or get into a WhatsApp group, I have set up separate WhatsApp groups for Facebook, for Instagram, for pretty much all the social media channels as well. If people want to get that, and they can just get that by going to socialchefs.com/ let me get that exact link. I think it's WhatsApp / all, actually. Let's see if that works. Yes. WhatsApp, socialchefs.com / WhatsApp / all. And actually, we can just send you out updates when new things go out. That way you don't have to get your inbox flooded. A lot of people said, hey, I'm trying to clean up my emails. If you want to go to the DM side of things, join the WhatsApp group. Anything else you want to add, by the way? I know we're going to have the blog post recap going out this week at socialchefs.com / SC238. And we also have the podcast and the Alexa Flash briefing. But anything else you want to add?
No, great episode. It was a lot of fun today.
So I want to thank everybody, by the way, who has joined us. We've got a lot of new people as well, I see. So we got Pressy here. Thanks a lot for stopping in. Irenia, thanks a lot for joining us. I see Angus Nelson, previous guest, dropped in as well. So I want to thank all of you for dropping in. If you have questions about anything that's here, any of the topics we talked about, any of the tools, or that Ecamm Live Bootcamp, be sure to go and sign up for that. With that, I'm going to wrap things up, but we will be back next Thursday. We're going to be back. That's April 30th at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Our guest is going to be Scott Ayers. So he actually works for Agora Pulse, a fantastic social media management dashboard that we use at Social Chefs. And I think you do it as well, right, Jim?
Yes.
So we will see you all next week. But thanks a lot for tuning in. And again, if you want to catch next week's show, we're going to have Scott Ayers on 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be on Facebook.com/Social Chefs or YouTube.com/Social Chefs. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye, everyone.